Go.
Hi Joseph, how are you?
Oh, not too bad, thanks. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see and hear.
Loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. Now, are you in a safe space, like a private space, so you feel comfortable talking?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's pretty
That's
good.
good. Same thing with confidentiality, as always. I won't disclose anything we discuss today unless there's a very good reason, like, if I'm concerned with safety of yourself or anyone. But other than that, let's get started, shall we? So, Joseph, how have you been feeling since we spoke last week?
Oh, well, good in one respect. I've got my accommodation sorted and my Centrelink and my meds and a few other things, but
Yeah.
but then not great, really.
Okay, so you mean in yourself, you're not feeling great, just in general? Do you want to explain that a little bit to me?
Well, I've just been feeling down all the time, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. It's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. So, is there anything in particular, like, is there anything you can pinpoint that's, how you're feeling? Give me a bit of a picture.
Well, I don't know. Just things don't seem to be going, in the right direction, really. I just feel a bit useless, really. I've applied for a few jobs. I haven't really got any interviews. I applied for heaps, and I don't know. I just don't feel like I can do anything right at the moment, to be honest.
Well, that's not a great way to feel, is it? It's not good at all. So, is there anything that's happened specifically, other than the job thing, anything that's happened this week that's maybe affected your mood specifically, that's made you feel the way you're feeling?
I think the big one is I went around my sister's the other day, and just turned up as I do from time to time, and there was some, she was having a bit of a sort of a party, a bit of a get together, and sort of her friends, which a lot of them are my friends, were there, and I wasn't invited. So when I called her out on it, she said it was a spur of the moment thing, and she said I was welcome to go in, but.
Okay, so I'm getting the sense that you didn't really believe her explanation.
No, not really. No, I just sort of felt like she felt like she had to sort of include me, but the fact I wasn't invited originally, I didn't want to make excuses and feel sorry for me. And then she got annoyed, and I got annoyed, and sort of had a bit of an argument. So yeah, no, it wasn't ideal. It made me feel a bit crappy, to be honest.
Yeah. So you felt a bit, obviously, quite down about that. I can understand that totally. So if you had to describe your sort of emotional feelings, how did you feel? You went home after all that happened. How did you feel inside, do you think?
I felt a bit rejected, really. With the job thing and that, and my friends and not the party, I've just sort of confirmed I feel a bit sort of nobody wants me around, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I can totally understand how you would feel that way. Nobody wants to feel like they're not included or rejected. It can make us feel quite, like you said, quite rejected. So, Joseph, I don't know if you remember, but last week I suggested to you that perhaps we could try some cognitive behavioural therapy. I just thought maybe help you with your emotions that you've been having, because it's been a couple of weeks you've been sort of feeling more so. It seems to be a bit of a pattern that I'm seeing. Do you think maybe you'd be happy to do that? Give that a try.
I'll give it a go. It makes me feel, will make me feel better. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, I really think it will. So basically, Joseph, I'll just explain it to you. So when we have something happens, whatever that event might be, often we have an immediate thought about that, and we're not usually aware of the thought that we're having. So it's just an automatic thought, and often it's not helpful thought, and so then we'll feel in a certain way because of that thought that we've had. And then often we'll behave in a certain way because of how we're feeling. So let's just use your sister as an example. So you went to your sister's house. She'd had all her friends around, your friends around, and you didn't feel that great. So that was the event. So what was your initial thought when you turned up there?
Well, straight away I thought she hadn't invited me because she didn't want me there. She wanted me there. Like I wasn't good enough to be there. So.
Okay, so that was your thought. Okay, which, you know, it then led to you feeling a certain way. So you had the event, you turned up there, and that's everything that happened, and then you felt quite rejected or felt that she didn't want you there. Okay, so that was your thought.
Yeah.
And then you went away feeling.
Yeah, like you said.
Yeah.
Felt like so. I felt rejected, like I didn't matter. So, yeah.
Quite hurt. Then is what I'm getting from you. Yeah. So then you have that horrible emotion. That's. Would you agree that emotion's then kind of hung around and made you feel quite down?
Well, you know, initially I felt sort of angry and defensive.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I guess that's carried on to how I feel today.
So Joseph, when you kind of went away and had that kind of you were quite angry and defensive, that was your behaviour, which was in response to how you were feeling. You know, those thoughts you had and how that made you feel, you then responded in a certain way. And how did you feel about the whole situation afterwards?
Well, still felt angry about it, you know. I've not changed my mind really about it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Joseph, how do you think maybe you could have had a different thought? So let's just use that as an example. You've turned up at your sister's house. Everything's happened the same as you explained it to me. What is another thought, a positive thought, that you could maybe have had about the situation?
Well, I suppose she could have been telling the truth. Perhaps.
Okay. So if that had been the case and you thought that, what do you think you would have felt like?
Well, would have been a good place to be at. I caught up with my friends and that, so yeah, it'd been good. To hang out.
So that would have been the result then. You'd have hung out with everybody and
enjoyed the party, I guess. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So can you see, Joseph, just from that one example, can you see how you having a different thought and being aware of your thought and having that different thought has then led you to feel differently, to act differently, and in general improved your mood?
Well, I suppose it would have done. Yeah, you've just got to take it at face value, I suppose. So it's just.
Okay.
We don't always take things at face value.
Yeah. So do you think that maybe, you know, you could try doing that? Like next time, maybe in a similar situation? Do you think that's something you could try?
Yeah, I suppose it'd definitely be worth a go, yeah, for sure. Okay. Might take a bit of practice though, I guess.
Yes, definitely. So this is the thing with this therapy, it's not a quick fix. It's about you recognising those thoughts that you're having that are, we call them errors in our thinking, and just being aware of them and then replacing those thoughts with something a little bit more positive, and then that in turn will change how you feel about the situation, and then of course that's going to change how you're going to react to it. So just over time with some practice, we can work on that. If you're happy to, would you like to continue to work on that?
Yeah. Hey, you've sorted out other things for me. I'm happy to try something else for sure.
That's great. That's really great. Okay, well, I've got some links that I can send you with some kind of homework, I guess, but it's just to get you thinking about that, to sort of really help with the, you know, practicing. So that's pretty much all we've got time for today, Joseph. But is this process working for you? Okay, you're happy with?
Happy to. I'm
happy the video
to try.
sessions.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, Joseph. So what we'll do, I'll send you those links, and we'll meet at the same time next week. Is that good for you?
That sounds sweet. Yeah. No worries.
Okay. Well, you practice what we talked about today, and we'll speak again next week.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Joseph. Bye.